The Awakening. The Orion Nebula sparkled with ancient starlight, its gases swirling in patterns unchanged for millennia. Against this backdrop, the Concordium scout vessel Distant Horizon drifted silently, its sensors sweeping the seemingly empty region of space. Captain Zerel, a tall Vexaran with iridescent scales and 6 nimble fingers on each hand, studied the anomalous readings that had brought them to this uncharted sector. "Confirm scan results," Zerel ordered, mandibles clicking with anticipation. "Confirmed, Captain," replied Science Officer Nara, her feathered crest rising in excitement. "The structure is embedded within the asteroid. Artificial construction, approximately 15 kilometers in diameter, powered down but intact." The asteroid appeared unremarkable, just another space rock among billions, but the Concordium had learned to be thorough. The galactic hegemony had ruled for nearly 2,000 years, cataloging and claiming every valuable discovery across known space. "Prepare an expedition team," Zerel decided. "I want to know what we found." Hours later, the expedition team breached the asteroid's outer shell to discover a massive facility unlike anything in Concordium records. The architecture was strange, utilitarian yet elegant, with corridors and chambers sized for beings slightly smaller than the average Concordium species. "These markings," murmured Nara, brushing dust from a wall panel. "They match no known language in our database." The team ventured deeper, passing through chambers filled with technology that seemed both primitive and advanced simultaneously. The contradiction puzzled them until they reached the central chamber. "Life signs," exclaimed Medical Officer Drav, checking his scanner. "Thousands of them, but dormant." Before them stretched row upon row of sleek metallic pods, each containing a humanoid figure suspended in transparent fluid. The occupants appeared similar, bipedal, relatively hairless except on their heads, with varied skin tones ranging from pale to dark brown. "Humans," whispered Nara, eyes widening. "They're supposed to be extinct." Human civilization had been little more than legend, a spacefaring species that had rapidly expanded, fought several bitter wars, and then mysteriously vanished from galactic records over 5,000 years ago. Most scholars considered them mythological or, at best, an insignificant species that had destroyed itself through internal conflict. Zerel approached one of the pods, wiping away dust to reveal the face of a female human. According to the pod's display, her name was Elena Vega, Commander, Earth Defense Force. "Why are they here?" "In stasis," Drav wondered. Before anyone could theorize, the facility's systems began to activate. Lights flickered on, and ancient machinery hummed to life. The team retreated in alarm as the pod before them initiated a revival sequence. Fluid drained from Commander Vega's pod, and the transparent cover slid open with a soft hiss. For a moment, she lay motionless. Then her eyes snapped open, dark brown, alert, and focused despite 5 millennia of sleep. Elena Vega awoke to a world she didn't recognize. Her military training kicked in immediately as she assessed her situation. Unfamiliar beings, unknown location, potential threat. She sat up slowly, noting her physical condition was surprisingly good considering how long the status readout indicated she'd been asleep. "Who are you?" she asked, her translator implant automatically processing the alien's communication signals. Captain Zerel stepped forward. "I am Captain Zorel of the Concordium scout vessel Distant Horizon. We discovered this facility by chance during a routine survey mission." Elena processed this information. "Concordium. That political entity didn't exist when I entered stasis. The Concordium has governed civilized space for nearly 2,000 years, Nara explained, fascinated by the human's quick adaptation. "May I ask how you came to be here?" Elena's eyes darkened. "Operation Lazarus, Earth's last hope." She stepped from the pod, testing her legs. "We were losing the war. Our final defense line had fallen. The enemy was systematically eradicating human settlements across every world we colonized." "What enemy?" Zerel asked. We called them the void mines. They came from beyond the galactic rim, consumed resources and life, and left nothing behind. Elena looked around the chamber. This facility contains Earth's best minds. Scientists, soldiers, engineers, doctors. We were preserved to rebuild humanity after the threat had passed. Humanity is considered extinct, Nara said gently. There are no human settlements in known space. The news hit Elena like a physical blow, but she maintained her composure. Then we failed. The void mines wiped us out. She straightened her shoulders, but not completely. How many stasis pods are still functional? A quick survey revealed that of the original 10,000 pods, nearly 8,500 remained viable, their occupants still alive after 50 centuries of dreamless sleep. Elena made a decision. We need to wake the essential personnel first, starting with the command staff and scientific division. Zeril shifted uncomfortably. I should consult with Concordium High Command before authorizing such action. The revival of an extinct species raises significant political and security concerns. Elena's expression hardened. These are my people. I'm not asking permission. Before Zeril could respond, his communication officer interrupted with an urgent message. Captain, 2 Concordium battlecruisers have entered the system. Admiral Kren demands an immediate report. The situation escalated quickly. Admiral Kren, a decorated military officer known for his harsh pragmatism, ordered the facility quarantined pending a full Concordium investigation. Elena, now joined by her awakened command staff, Strategic Officer Marcus Chen, Chief Scientist Dr. Aisha Rahman, and Security Director Nikolai Volkov, refused to surrender control of the facility. This is humanity's legacy, Elena argued during a tense video conference with Admiral Kren. We have a right to determine our own future. The galaxy has changed, Commander Vega, Kren replied, his reptilian features impassive. Introducing an extinct species with unknown capabilities could destabilize the established order. What might have devolved into conflict was averted when Dr. Rahman made a startling discovery. The facility contained a database of advanced technologies far beyond current Concordium capabilities, faster than light drives that could reduce travel time by 75%, energy systems that could power entire planets, medical techniques that could extend lifespans threefold. We developed these in desperation, fighting a war we were losing, Elena explained. We'll share them in exchange for our independence and assistance re-establishing human settlements. Even the pragmatic Admiral Kren couldn't dismiss the value of such knowledge. A tentative agreement was reached. The humans would be allowed to revive their people gradually and establish a colony on an uninhabited world in nearby space, under Concordium observation. As more humans awakened, the true scope of Operation Lazarus became clear. It wasn't merely a preservation effort, but a contingency plan designed to ensure humanity's survival against any threat. The facility contained construction blueprints, cultural archives, genetic samples of Earth life, and weapons technologies specifically designed to combat the void mines should they return. Elena stood in the facility's observation dome, gazing at the stars alongside Dr. Rahman. 5,000 years, Elena murmured. Everyone we knew, everyone we loved. Gone. But humanity survives, Rahman replied softly. Through us. For now, Elena agreed, but something bothers me. The void mines were methodical, relentless. If they destroy humanity, why didn't they find this facility? Why didn't they continue expanding through the galaxy? Perhaps they were defeated, suggested Rahman. Or perhaps, Elena said, her expression grim, they're still out there, waiting. And if they are, the Concordium isn't ready for what's coming. As the revival efforts continued, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that Operation Lazarus hadn't been activated by chance. Something had triggered the facility's systems just before the Concordium team arrived, as if responding to an unseen signal from deep space. Humanity had slept for 5,000 years. Now they were awake, strangers in a galaxy that had forgotten them. carrying the memory of an enemy the Concordium had never faced. And somewhere in the darkness between stars, something ancient and patient was stirring. The resurgence. 6 months after the awakening, the human colony of New Terra flourished on a verdant world 30 light-years from the original facility. Under Alina's leadership, nearly 5,000 humans had been revived, with the remainder scheduled for awakening as infrastructure expanded. The relationship with the Concordium remained tense but mutually beneficial. Human engineers worked alongside alien counterparts to implement their advanced technologies, while Concordium cultural experts helped the humans adapt to a radically changed galaxy. Alina stood on the balcony of the Colonial Administration building, watching shuttles ferry supplies from orbiting Concordium vessels. Beside her, Marcus Chen studied reports on a holographic display. "Production is exceeding expectations," Marcus noted. "The Concordium is particularly interested in our gravitational manipulation technology and our weapons systems," Alina asked quietly. Marcus lowered his voice. "They're curious but cautious. Admiral Kren has twice requested detailed schematics for the phased displacement cannons." "Keep stalling," Alina instructed. "I'm not ready to hand over our most effective defenses against the void mines." Her caution proved prescient when Dr. Raman requested an urgent meeting in the secure underground laboratory complex. There, Raman and her team had been analyzing data from deep space monitoring arrays established around New Terra. "We've detected something," Raman announced, displaying a star chart with an ominous void expanding at the galaxy's edge, a region where stars are going dark. Not exploding, not dying naturally, simply ceasing to emit light or any detectable radiation. Alina felt a chill of recognition. The void mines. "The pattern matches historical records from before the fall of Earth," Raman confirmed. "They're back. Or perhaps they never left, just retreated to rebuild their forces. How long do we have?" "At their current rate of expansion, perhaps 2 years before they reach populated Concordium space, maybe less." Alina made an immediate decision. "Contact Admiral Kren. The Concordium needs to know what they're facing." The meeting with Concordium leadership proved difficult. Many officials dismissed the human warnings as exaggeration or manipulation. "Convenient," sneered Political Director VMAX. "You awaken after 5 millennia, and immediately identify a threat only you can combat." This sounds like a transparent bid for political leverage. Admiral Kren, however, had grown to respect Alina's judgment. Commander Vega is not prone to fabrication. If she believes this threat is real, we should at least investigate. A joint expedition was launched to the edge of the darkened region. What they discovered confirmed humanity's worst fears. Entire star systems stripped of energy, planets reduced to lifeless husks, and at the center of it all, massive structures of unknown composition that seemed to absorb light itself. The expedition barely escaped when one of the structures deployed smaller vessels that pursued them with relentless efficiency. Only the advanced evasion systems developed by human engineers allowed them to break contact and return to Concordium space with their evidence. Faced with irrefutable proof, the Concordium High Council declared a state of emergency. Military forces were mobilized, planetary evacuations planned, and defensive lines established. But traditional Concordium tactics proved ineffective against the void mine's first incursions. "They don't think like us," Alina explained during a strategic briefing with Concordium military leadership. "They don't value individual survival or territory. They operate as a collective consciousness with a single purpose: consumption of energy in all its forms." "How did humanity fight them?" demanded Admiral Kren. "Asymmetrically," replied Nikolai Volkov, now serving as humanity's military liaison. "We couldn't match their numbers or raw power, so we targeted their communication networks, disrupted their collective decision-making, and forced them to fight as individuals rather than a unified force. Using the facility database, humans shared critical technologies with the Concordium. Specialized jammers that disrupted void mind communications, shield harmonics that could withstand their energy-draining weapons, and targeting systems that could identify the critical nodes within their swarm formations. As the conflict escalated, Alina made another crucial discovery. Using advanced scanning techniques, human scientists located dozens of hidden facilities, similar to their own, scattered throughout the galaxy. Operation Lazarus hadn't been limited to a single installation. Humanity had hedged its bets, establishing multiple preservation sites to maximize survival chances. Expeditions were dispatched to these locations, awakening more humans who brought additional knowledge and resources to the fight. Each facility contained specialized personnel and technology suited to different aspects of combating the void mines. The most significant discovery came from a facility in what had once been the Hercules cluster. There, they awakened Dr. Sanjay Mehta, the lead scientist responsible for a weapon that had been under development when Earth fell, the Nexus Disruptor, designed to sever the connections between individual void mines and their collective consciousness permanently. The prototype was 90% complete when we entered stasis, Dr. Mehta explained. With current resources and the Concordium's assistance, we can finish it within months. The alliance between humans and the Concordium deepened through shared adversity. Species that had previously viewed humans with suspicion now worked alongside them, learning to appreciate their adaptability, creativity, and determination. As the void mines pushed deeper into populated space, the combined forces implemented humanity's asymmetric tactics. Instead of confronting the enemy directly, they executed precision strikes against communication nodes, lured smaller groups into prepared ambushes, and deployed experimental weapons that disrupted the enemy's collective intelligence. The Nexus Disruptor became operational just as the void mines launched their most significant offensive against the Concordium core worlds. The device, a massive installation requiring the energy output of 3 stars to power, was positioned at a strategic choke point. Alina stood on the command deck of the Defiance, a hybrid vessel combining human design with Concordium construction. Beside her, Admiral Kren watched as the enemy armada approached. "They're committing all their forces," Kren observed. "If this fails, it won't," Alina said with quiet confidence. Humanity didn't survive 5,000 years to fail now. As the Void Mind fleet entered the target zone, Dr. Mehta activated the Nexus Disruptor. A wave of energy unlike anything seen before expanded outward, invisible to normal sensors, but devastating to the unique quantum entanglement that allowed the void mines to function as a collective. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Enemy vessels stopped in mid-trajectory, their coordinated movements dissolving into chaos. Some drifted aimlessly, while others attacked their own companions in confusion. "Now," Alina commanded, and the combined human Concordium fleet surged forward. The battle was fierce but decisive. Without their collective intelligence, the void mines could not adapt to the coordinated attacks. One by one, their vessels were disabled or destroyed. Those that attempted to retreat were pursued and eliminated, ensuring no seed of the collective survived to rebuild. In the aftermath, as recovery operations began across damaged Concordium worlds, Alina met with the High Council. "Humanity has proven its value," declared High Counselor Zemos. "The Concordium formally recognizes New Terra and all human colonies as sovereign territories, with full rights and privileges under our interstellar accords." Alina accepted the declaration with grace, but her mind was already turning to the future. The victory had been hard-won, but it had also revealed something profound. The different species of the Concordium, working together with humanity, had accomplished what neither could have done alone. "We didn't just survive," Alina told her staff later that evening, as they gathered to commemorate their fallen. "We've created something new. The humans of old Earth would barely recognize what we've become, but I think they'd be proud." Dr. Raman raised her glass. "To humanity's second chance. And to those who slept," added Marcus Chen, "so that we might wake to build a better future." As celebrations continued across New Terra, Alina slipped away to a quiet observatory. The stars looked different to her now, not just distant lights, but homes and destinations. Humanity had returned to the galactic stage, not as conquerors or victims, but as partners and protectors. The path ahead would not be easy. Rebuilding human civilization while forging a place within the Concordium would require diplomacy, patience, and occasionally the same determination that had carried them through the recent conflict. But for the first time since awakening, Alina felt something she had almost forgotten: hope. Humanity had slept for 5,000 years, dreaming of survival. Now awake, they could begin dreaming of something greater, a future among the stars, not just for themselves, but for all sentient life that called the galaxy home. In the observatory's silence, Alina made a private promise to those who hadn't survived to see this day. The human spirit that had endured extinction itself would never again fade from the cosmos. And if some new darkness ever threatened the light of civilization, humanity would stand ready, not as the beast that others feared to wake, but as the guardian that kept the night at bay.